Let's talk. If there is one conversation I have had too many times in the SCA, from both sides of the conversation, mind you, it's the chastisement of you need to delegate. Um, I have told numerous friends of mine on multiple occasions, wagging my finger at them. You need to delegate. You are doing too much by yourself, whether it's a project or an event or an activity at an event. There are a large number of people I know who are prone to taking on too much. And I'm not saying that blithely. First of all, there's physical limits in general to what the human body can do in a given period of time. And a lot of the people that I'm talking about are not Olympic athletes. They are not 21-year-old spry kids anymore. We are talking about individuals who are dealing with their own issues, maybe didn't get to the event with the best of sleep already, so they're coming at a deficit. Maybe didn't have the best footwear, so they can't walk that much. All the little things kind of add up, and they run themselves ragged trying to do everything. And all of their friends start off by saying, hey, tell us what you need. And then eventually it turns into, sit down, tell us what to do. I've been there. I've done that. There were plenty of times in my past where I tried to do everything, and it was a disaster. Go figure, because I was trying to do everything, and I was, just running myself ragged. I could get away with it for what I was doing. I could get away with it when I was like 19, 20, maybe up to 24, 25, and then, health was not on my side. Now, there's another side to that situation. There's another, let's say, in the other end of a spectrum. And there are people, I don't necessarily agree with this philosophy, but there are people who very clearly hold the philosophy that they are too important to do work. They view their role, whether this is a permanent situation or whether it is a decision made at a given event or activity, but they very specifically see themselves as the delegator of all work, and frankly, they cannot be bothered to get their hands dirty with even the smallest task, even when it is optimum for them to step away from what they are currently doing and offer 3 minutes of help. Again, I'm not saying either or. I'm saying these are 2 points, 2 ends to a spectrum that exist, and most of us exist somewhere between those 2 points. You have on one end the person who will not lift a finger. Their role is to, do nothing but delegate, and then you have the person on the other end who keeps trying to do everything themselves until they fall over. Now, let's put some parameters on this. There absolutely are scenarios where, because of circumstances, the individual needs to do everything themselves. The task is too detailed, the instructions are too intricate, they cannot delegate it out, so they have to push themselves to a limit because they're the only ones capable of doing it. I've seen those, it's rare, but it happens. So there's no absolutes on that end. And there are absolutely circumstances on the other end of the spectrum where the act of coordinating that much activity, that many people, is a full-time job, and the event steward or the coordinator or the autocrat or whatever you want to call them, it is a sunrise to sunset and occasional wake-up calls at night job. to coordinate and keep things going. So also there are exceptions to that end. There are circumstances where delegating is a job. But you have the middle. You have this spectrum in between where it is left to human judgment. Okay, what do I tell people to do so that I am delegating? Versus how much should I do so I don't look like or come across as someone who is bossy and is not willing to do his fair share of work. Now, and let's be clear. There's a complicating factor here. I have unreservedly talked about the fact that I am neurodivergent. I don't pick up on some of the same social cues that a lot of other people do, and I know I'm not the only one. I have long suspected the SCA because of the type of community it is, because of the type of people we tend to attract, and because of the overall kind of theme of our society. We have a higher concentration than the general society of people who are neurodivergent. So you have the traditional normal uncertainty of how much should I do versus how much should I delegate. Add to that the fact that the person making the decision is probably some flavor of neurodivergent and maybe isn't the best at reading the people who are around them. Add to the fact that the people around them are probably, maybe half, whatever of them are probably some flavor of neurodivergent and are trying to read this guy. And it's, again, this is usually happening on a weekend when we're not all well fed or well rested, and there's just a lot of, I want to get the job done, but I also don't want to step on toes. Is there a magic bullet to fix this? No, there isn't. If there was, someone else would have thought of it ages ago. I do want to talk about some guidance, however, for people, especially younger or newer players, who are on either end of that situation, whether you are the general labor volunteering to help or whether you are the new or relatively new event lead or activity lead who is, coordinating stuff. First of all, communication is vital, and there's a difference. When we say communication, a lot of people kind of immediately go, okay, I need to tell people more, and it's more than that. I can talk at you all day. Are you hearing what I'm saying is a critical question. So part of what's going to make delegation easier is if you, as the delegator, clearly communicate what you need, why you need it, and repeatedly reassure and uplift the people who are helping. Say thank you a million times. Frankly, if you have a chance to prepare ahead of time, it might be cool to grab some largesse you can give people. Depending on the activity, depending on your budget, that's a whole nother conversation. But gratitude needs to be your second language in that. But also for the people who want to help, it's a lot of people who want to be helpful also they don't want to get in the way, which is also fair. A bunch of grouchy people at event tear down, like, oh my God, I want to get this done. And we're all making mean faces at each other, and we're not mad at anyone. We're just tired. And we want to get home, or we want to get to the tear down dinner so we can put our feet up and have Coke and just chill. It's not necessarily the most welcoming space for a young or new person to jump in and go, hey, let me help. Now, some people do jump in that environment and they thrive in it, but it's not for everyone. If you find yourself in that environment, make sure you clearly articulate, I would like to help, or can I help you? Because that that opens the bridge. You are, if someone says, "Can I help you?" At least when I hear that, that helps me break out of my frustrated, tired funk and go, "Oh, yeah, there's someone here willing to help." And let's go back for a second to the people who are doing the delegating or who should be doing the delegating. One of the things that it's very easy for all of us to forget is that asking people to help you is not automatically a chore. It's not automatically detracting from their day or taking away from their time. A lot of times, the act of participating in a group activity, even if it's folding chairs and putting up tables, that helps build community. Try not to automatically see the act of asking for help as a petition of hard labor. Consider seeing it as an opportunity to help build relationships within that community. And whether that community is your local group or whether that community is the 15 minutes that these 6 or 7 people are together, that is still something that can build lasting friendships. Even if you guys don't see each other ever again, and maybe 2 of you bump into each other 6 months later, I know some long-lasting friendships that have started that way. So group activity like that is a group activity. It's group work, but it's a group activity. That is, I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole of psychology and human psychology and behavioral psychology and all that, but understand that it is very easy to just look at the surface level of delegation and go, either I want to do all the work because, it's my responsibility, or I need to delegate, or no, my job is to delegate. I shouldn't be bogged down with any of this stuff. Wherever you are in that spectrum, that work is part of a community. That is how we build community. Part of how we build community anyway. Now, last but not least, one of the questions that comes up a lot, and again, I don't have any magic bullet answers for this, but I know a lot of people, and this is one of the questions I have wrestled with a lot, is what should I delegate and what should I do myself? And you really want to avoid getting to the point where you have to delegate everything because you're too burned out or beat up to do it. That's the goal of delegation, is to not get you that burned out. But there are a lot of times, I've been there. This is a thought I have had. There are a lot of times where it's like, God, I don't want to look like I'm handing off all of the crap work because I don't want to do it. And there is a kind of this little philosophy that I have come up with. This starts with what I learned from my father as a kid. I got a lot of this also from my time as a junior and then cadet firefighter. And it really kind of firmed itself up in my first decade in the SCA, where I was both taking orders and starting to step into roles where I was giving direction and delegating. And the summary, for the overlong buildup the summary is, I don't ever ask anyone to do something that I am not willing to do myself. If I need someone to go in and scrub the nastiest possible bathroom, I offer to go in with them, or I will, I'll grab gloves, I'll go and I'll help them start off with one stall or mop the floor, just to demonstrate that I am never going to be above getting my hands dirty, that I'm never going to be above, doing the work that I'm asking someone else to do. Now, if I am physically or emotionally unable to do the work, if it's dealing with a situation that I just am not up for, or if I have burned myself out, I've hurt my back, I've twisted an ankle or something, that's a different story. But if you are like me and you struggle with that balance of, I don't want to look like I'm pawning off all of the work and being bossy versus I need, you wind up doing all the work. These are two ends of a spectrum. There's a lot in between. And what I have found gives me a lot of credibility and a lot of respect is I never ask people to do anything that I am not willing to do myself. And that philosophy in and out of the SCA has earned me a lot of respect in the service community. It has earned me a lot of very close friendships, and it is one of the fundamental, frankly, cornerstones of a lot of my friendships, because with that has a building block. It is established that when Ivo says he needs help, and that was part of the way I built that reputation. So, again, I could talk about this for hours. I don't want to, though, and you don't want me to. But I felt like for a lot of new or newer members, that is, I feel like that's an offering that I wanted to get out there so that you had some framework, some talking points even, as you go to your next event or your next practice or your next activity. And maybe you're one of those types who doesn't feel bold enough to actually say, hey, I'd love to help, because you're afraid you're going to get in the way, or you're afraid you'll be in the way, or everyone seems to know what they're doing, they obviously don't need me. No, it's not that simple. Or you're one of those people who earnestly, honestly takes personal responsibility when you're given a task, and you feel like delegation is shrugging off part of their responsibility. That's a valid take, but do not get swallowed into that as an absolute. There are ways of delegating while still maintaining your part of the responsibility. So beyond that, you're going to have to find your own way. Everyone's situation is different. Every group is different. Every group dynamic is different. So I offer it up as a talking point more than any answer. I hope this is helpful. I hope this conversation sparks some useful talking points where you are, where you play, so that you can help improve your own game and help strengthen the dynamic in your group. If you had any conversations like this, do you feel like there are different takes or different philosophies on the delegation and service etiquette where you are? We have a comment section down in this video. Feel free to comment. That is, I want to add to that conversation. I want to get your take on it. Thank you for listening to me this long. I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you at the next event. But until then, goodbye and God bless. If there are two things I've learned that drive videos these days, it's controversy and engagement. Now, I am never going to fly the controversy flag on a regular basis. It's not what I'm here for. It's not the content I want to make, and I really don't think it helps any of us. But let's do engagement. If you like this video, please go down in the comments and leave a comment. Make sure to share the video. And last but not least, easiest of all, make sure to like the video. That helps drive the algorithm. It helps get the video views and helps promote this material. Thank you very much.